Pew Research Center did I guess a survey, and basically they found that most Black people don't believe that anything will be improved in America. Number one on the website, Black Americans are pessimistic about their position in the U.S. society. Most Black adults say increased focus on racial inequality has not improved the lives of Black people. So the survey says will not versus will, has not versus has. So the has not portion is for all adults is 57%. For Black people, it's 65%. Most Black adults say increased focus on racial inequality has not improved the lives of Black people. 46% of adults say will not. 43% of Black people say will not. Black Americans see little improvement in their lives despite increased national attention to racial issues. Self-explanatory. You know, Black people are getting more and more recognition, more and more of the stage, of the limelight, and they're still saying it's not enough. So really, the reason why I wanted to talk about this survey from the Pew Research Center is because the majority of Black people don't believe what's going on is working. So if that's true, then Black people are pretty much the majority, or they feel hopeless, or they know it's not really a big thing. It's not really a real thing. So let me see. Few Black adults expect equality for Black people in the U.S. Just 13% of Black adults say equality for Black people in the U.S. is extremely or very likely. So that means the majority of Black people believe that America is not equal for them. I'm telling you this because if they don't believe that America is going to be equal for them, then that means they will accept a solution that will be ungodly. If Black people are saying, we don't believe that America, we're talking about almost 85% of Black people are believing that America is not equal for them. If that is the case, then that means they will accept a solution that is ungodly. That means somebody can come to them and say, because there's no hope on the horizon, we're going to offer you this. And this is why I keep talking about Black people ushering in the Antichrist. Because as you see, based on these surveys and this data, Black people are the hopeless group of the country. They're the ones that don't see any hope. And again, Black people's issue is not equality. Black people have the same rights as anybody else. There's no special set of rights for Black people. There's no special set of rights for any group. Everybody has the same rights. Black people say, well, what about the right to vote? You have the right to vote. Again, they talk about these quote unquote, where's our anti-hate bill? They got an anti-lynching bill. Anything that is harmful to Black people as far as a crime is already illegal. There doesn't need to be a new set of laws like the anti-Asian hate bill. What is it really doing? Anything that's done to Asians that was wrong is punishable by the law. Like it was never legal. But again, it's a virtue signal. Excuse me. I use one of those little nutty pots, where you pour that stuff in your nose. I probably should have waited. But anyway, Tori said, I'm not white, I'm peach. There's no such thing as white or black. Nobody's black, nobody's white. But anyway, so the majority of black people, and again, it's a whole bunch, and this is a, you know, the survey is called, what's the name of it? Okay, Black Americans are pessimistic about their position in U.S. society from the Pew Research Center. And basically, they have Black Americans see little improvement in their lives despite increased national attention to racial issues. Few Black adults expect equality for Black people in the U.S. Black adults say racism and police brutality are extremely big problems for people in the U.S. Personal experiences with discrimination are widespread among Black Americans. Black Americans' views on political strategies, leadership, and allyship for achieving equality. So again, reparations for slavery, Black Americans' views on systemic change. Again, all of this stuff is really just propaganda. And so the devil deals with illusions. So the devil has you believing that you are a second-class citizen, but meanwhile, you can't prove it. There's nothing that you can't do that a white person or Hispanic person or Asian person or immigrant, like, you can do it. There's nothing you can't do. So this notion that you can't do something because of a system is insane. And no one wants to talk about how would a group of people behave if they felt like there was no hope. Think about what I'm saying. Would a group of people, if they felt like there was no hope, would they be positive? Would they be go-getters? Would they be type of people to go out there and make things happen? Would they be builders? No. Black people are telling on themselves. Think about what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that Black people, based on this data, think that it is hopeless for them in America, and they're oppressed, and they're second-class citizens, and there will be no improvement. Now, who believes that that group of people are going to give their best when it comes to this thing called life? It's not true. That group of people wouldn't do the type of things to be successful. This notion that a group of people can experience hopelessness and still go out there and be great is a lie. It's insanity to even think so. If Black people feel this way, this explains everything. This means that Black people voting for Kamala Harris isn't because they believe things are going to get better. It's to just flex and stunt. Everything that Black folks are doing based on this study is saying that Black people don't really believe any of this stuff. They're just doing this stuff for show. About 6 in 10 Black Americans say racism and police brutality are extremely big problems for Black people in America today. So imagine the country going through something and Black people have the luxury to have their own set of grievances and problems to worry about. I told y'all before, Black folks ain't complaining about the economy, the border, this trans, LGBT, none of that stuff. Black folks are complaining about what the TV is telling them: police brutality and racism. Black people are complaining about propaganda, not what's actually going on. Fewer see other national issues such as economic inequality or K through 12 education as extremely big problems for Black Americans. I want to find what I read something earlier. Let me see. Okay, here it goes. I'm sorry, here it goes. Majority of black adults say racism and police brutality are extremely big problems. Racism at the top of the list, 63%. Police brutality second at 60%. Economic inequality at 54%. Affordability of healthcare, 47%. Efforts to limit voting, 46%. And quality of K through 12 schools, 40%. So again, these things that black folks are concerned with aren't really even things. They're not. And so now you have a whole group of people that have a grievance that's not even real. And so now what are you going to do? Black people are already stating there's no solution to this. So that means if they feel hopeless, they're going to accept a solution that's going to cost everybody. They're going to accept something ungodly. Tierra Barnes said the number one issue is education, not police brutality. How could police brutality be the number one issue when police involvement with black folks is very limited compared to the majority of black people? The majority of black people are not going to prison, they're not going to jail, they're not committing crime. This is majority, they're not. So how are these issues black folks are putting at the top when they don't affect the majority? The majority of black folks aren't affected by racism. How do we know this? Because the majority of black folks work. That's how we know. The majority of black people have too much time to live their best life. So it's not even racism. Yes, they're living in 1920. But let's get started. COVID-19 said the same news media tells them they're oppressed and then turns around and reports that they're not optimistic about their futures. That's just wickedness. Like, again, based on this survey, black people are living in an entire separate reality than everyone else. And it's dangerous because reality is giving them the battery. They're living in a illusion, but reality is giving them the battery to carry out that illusion. Tori said, how about taking issue to the doctors who get paid to take their fresh newborns to the back and shoot them up with poison and cut their penis skins off? Yeah, how about that? I think that means circumcision. But let's get started, man. This is just I just wanted to talk about that, survey from the Pew Research Center. And it basically said that black folks feel hopeless and they don't feel anything will change. The majority of black people. So my question is, then what is all of this for? Again, there is no group of people on the planet that feel hopeless and they're going to have a positive outlook on life. They're not. They're not going to try as hard. They're not going to give 100%. They're not going to believe in God. Like, a hopeless people are just that. They're hopeless, meaning that they don't. So again, black people saying they are denied this and that, it's not true. Clearly, black people's mindset is playing a big part in what's going on because they feel hopeless. They're not turning to God. They're turning to who? The government, to the communists, to the Marxists, to the globalists, to the media, Hollywood. Randall Hampton said, we had a shooting last weekend. The police were right there and didn't stop them. I mean, at this point, what do you want the cops to do? If the cops intervene and save the day, they're racist. If one cop does something, they all racist. Like, it's a lose-lose. So guess what? You know what we're going to do? We're going to let y'all have at it and then do the cleanup. You know? You know what I mean? So what we see now is police being placed in a very bad situation, because you have a bunch of people that are living in a false reality. So even an arrest, even the police asking them what they're doing is racism. So in other words, allow them to do what they want to do. Then all these bodies start piling up. Then black folks get on TV and say the police aren't doing their jobs. Look at how wicked black people are. Black people say we want to police our own communities. Then when the bodies start piling up, they say the cops are racist, they ain't doing their job. Think about this. The cops are racist for doing their job, and they're racist for not doing their job. So again, I told you all, it's a lose-lose for the police. I want to show you all. Let me see if I can find this. Let me see if I can find. There was one. Cop was helping this guy on the side of the road. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Here it goes, right here. This police officer stops on the side of the road to help somebody. And I want to just show you all just the, just what happens and what the media doesn't show you. So what the media is showing everybody is a small percentage of what's going on. That's why I come on here and show you what's actually happening. So what the media is doing, the media is picking through all of the bad apples, i.e. the black criminal or black crime element, picking through all the bad apples and trying to convince you that this apple, that's just like all the rest of them, is a good apple. So let me just okay. So the police officer, it's not that long. So the police officer sees somebody stranded on the side of the highway. Police pulls over, and we're going to see what happens. I like that. The I Ain't Black News Network. Let me see. IABN. The IABN. I like that. IABN. I like that. I Ain't Black News Network. I like that. She did something good. She did something good. Okay, so the cops pulling up.
Six taking care of B97.
Now the guy gets out the car, as you can see. The guy gets out the car. I'm gonna let you listen. But now normally the police is supposed to say, get back in the car, pull the gun out and all that, do all that stuff, right? So now this cop doesn't do that. This cop don't do the get back in your vehicle, what you doing, all this. He don't do that approach. Now watch what happens now.
Hey, bud.
Got a flat tire. You can help me?
What are you needing?
Just a tire. I need a ride to the store. You get me there.
Okay, I can get you back to town real quick, but nobody's open tonight.
Well, that's fine. I get to town. I just come back to get the car.
Okay, Go ahead and go to the front of my car real quick. I'll meet you up there real quick. I'll get you.
So you heard the gunshot. He just shot the police officer. Now the police officer went to the side of the road to help him, offered him a ride to take him into town. Police officer being very compliant, and he's being white. He's being very white, which means he's being very helpful and addressing the problem. So this guy shoots him. Now he's walking around to the passenger side. Now keep in mind, the normal cop's supposed to say, get back in your car, put your hands up, get on the call for backup, do all the racist stuff. He didn't do that. Okay, so now he's laying there shot. So let's see what happens. So you can hear the cop saying, oh, the cop's still alive. He's saying, oh, you know, and then the guy shoots him two more times, executes him in the front seat. Now, this is just cold-blooded, callous. Now the media is telling you this ain't something that the Kings could do. The Kings don't act like this. The Kings don't do this kind of thing. They don't shoot. They don't do none of this. This is not what kings and queens do. They don't. They go out there. They build pyramids. They build Black Wall Street. They do not do this kind of behavior. Now he takes the cop car. And he's out of there. In the police car. Just driving casual, and ain't nothing happening. He eventually was caught in another state. He eventually got caught. But my point is, I'm gonna show you something else, another scene. I think he might have threw the officer's body maybe on the side of the road. I don't know. I don't really know because it cuts to the cruiser's camera. What I'm saying is that this is what they don't want to show people, because what they want is for people to allow Black people to do whatever they want to do. And this is communism. Just a lot of Black folks to just run amok and then create all this havoc and chaos. And then when folks want a solution, they're going to offer the solution by the globalists. You know, let's have these robots on the street. Let's have these UN troops. Let's have these military personnel on the street. Let's just declare martial law. That's the goal. But yeah, he killed the cop. You know, the cop had a family. And it's just sad because the cop actually was, and again, most police officers do this. Like most cops are very accommodating if you need something. Most police. You know, I was in parking lot of Whole Foods a couple of months ago when these young ladies had tried to change or help this young lady change her tire, and they had the wheel, the rotor on the ground. The jack had failed, and so the brake disc was on the ground. And I was about to help them, put the tire on the car, and then the police showed up with the big jack and everything. So again, police are very accommodating. The media only gives you one side of the police. They tell you that they're bad. And so that's propaganda. Anytime they only give you one side of the story, it's propaganda. Oh yeah, the cop died. He made sure the cop died. He shot him on this side of from the passenger side. He shot him, and then went to the other side and shot him 2 more times, point blank range. Yes, the cop died. Because when he went over there, the cop was still saying, he was still talking like, oh, he's still. No, it's just sad though. Just imagine, you laying there shot, and this guy's gonna kill you. You got your family at home. It's just tragic. But the kings and queens never would do that. They would never kill an innocent person. I'll show you something else. Oh, they took the video down. They took it down.
Face sloughing off.
Damn, so the dead?
I'd say she has less than a 2% chance.
Her brain vessel wrong?
Her what?
But is she like burned black?
No, she's not burned black. That's not how it works when a human being burns.
You sure about that? Because I think so.
So this lady, she burnt the cashier at the gas station. She accused her of being racist because she's white. She just went to got some gas outside, poured gasoline on her, and just burnt her up at the gas station, just like it's nothing. Just because she felt a certain way. So imagine these black folks that are already feeling hopeless, and the media is telling them that Trump is going to be the next Adolf and white people are out to get them. The police. Just imagine these group of people that are under this much propaganda and program. They're going to crash out. They're going to short circuit. But let's go back to it. Let's go back. Because the queens wouldn't do this. They'd be out there building the pyramid.
Did she say anything to you?
No, she just poured.
Are you burned too? That's one of the worst burns I've seen. Our whole right arm flopping off, her face sloughing off.
Damn, so the dead?
I'd say she has less than a 2% chance.
Her brain vessel wrong?
Her what?
But is she like burned black?
No, she's not burned black. That's not how it works when a human being burns.
You sure about that? Because I think so.
So if she dies, then that charge will upgrade to premeditated murder.
Yes, sir. I don't think she don't wake up.
March 30th, 2022 was a day like any other for the employees at a Circle K gas station in Pensacola, Florida. That is, until a customer doused one of the cashiers in gasoline and then set her ablaze. The investigators were left struggling to understand what could have driven the perpetrator to do such a horrible thing. What they uncovered along the way was nearly impossible to fathom. The majority of the following footage has never been seen before. The Escambia County Sheriff's Department first learned of the gruesome assault when they received this distressing 911 call from a nearby Circle K gas station.
Okay, do you need police, fire, or ambulance?
We need both police and fire. This lady just said somebody on fire at the store.
Is she still on fire?
Yes.
I need you to go and tell her to stop running, drop to the ground, cover her face, and roll around.
What the hell? That girl is crazy. She just...
Is she still on fire?
Yeah. What? Oh, no, okay. Yeah, she's still on fire.
Okay. Tell her to stop around. On the ground. If you have any water available, douse her immediately. Where all is she burned?
Can I see? She's burned on her face, her arms, from her waist up. She's burned. Her skin is
everything.
burned.
Both arms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Her arms, her face, her neck.
Okay.
Her chest.
A second 911 call came in just moments later, and once again, the background noise was spine-chilling. Seeing the carnage in person, though, was so much worse.
Hello?
Yes.
She's back here.
Hey, where'd the girl that set her on fire go?
She gone. She just left. Yeah.
Yes, that she is going to have to go to the hospital, sir.
Oh, yeah, the EMS come in. It's going to be a trauma.
So this lady went to the store and burnt this white woman up because she was white. Now, the media is never going to say this black woman did it for race. They're not even going to mention it. They're not even going to mention it. And then y'all expect white folks to not be upset when y'all are out here doing this kind of stuff and the media is blaming them. Imagine this woman's family, she done got burnt up and they cut the TV on and they saying white people are the worst things in America. Think about this black woman burning your child up, your wife, your sister, whoever, because she's white, and you cut the TV on and the TV is saying the worst thing in America is white people. And y'all want me to not say nothing. Y'all want me to just be quiet. I wish I would. Nobody putting water on the woman. People can't even respond in a crisis. He says something spiritually wrong with her. What I'm telling you all is that blackness itself is something spiritually wrong. You keep glossing over this. The fact that you are black is a spiritually wrong existence. Because what happens is you have somebody telling you what to think, how to feel, how to think, how to live, how to exist, and the people telling you this serve Satan. So when you say spiritually wrong, that applies to blackness, period. The majority of black people support Kamala Harris. Does that qualify as being spiritually wrong? Yes. The majority of black people support Kamala Harris. That means it's something spiritually wrong with the majority of black people.
A quick-thinking customer doused the victim, Joey Helmick, with a bucket of mop water. The police would speak with the man, but first they had to deal with the horror still unfolding at the scene. Shockingly, even the victim's understanding of what had happened was extremely limited.
Hey, did she say anything to you?
No, she just poured.
Are you burned too?
Set it on fire. I didn't even do anything. I just walked in the store.
Baby, how old is she?
I'm 37.
How old do you think the girl that burnt you?
Oh, I don't know.
Approximately 1/3 of Joey's body was covered in second and third-degree burns. Even with the doctor's best efforts, her condition rapidly worsened. She was placed into a medically induced coma and needed life support to survive. In a last-ditch effort to save her life, Joey was airlifted to a specialized burn center in Alabama. Back in Pensacola, it was the police's top priority to track down the perpetrator and detain them before they could cause further harm.
Did anybody see where she went? In a car?
Luckily, the witness was able to give an incredibly detailed physical description of the suspect. He said the police needed to be on the lookout for an African-American woman in her late 20s or early 30s, wearing a black sweatsuit with yellow zipper details. Her toenails, he said, were painted with blue glitter polish. The description was broadcast to all the units on scene, and it wouldn't be long before the police caught up with the person responsible for this heinous crime.
Now we talking about she's spiritually wrong, but she know how to take them clothes off and dish them clothes. She know how to dish them clothes to not get caught. She ain't that spiritually out of whack.
All right, she has a black.
like all along. That's all. We're working on that.
I didn't sit there and walk up. You said something to me and said, "You gonna monkey." Excuse my name. You came standing there looking like a monkey. Why didn't you just go to work and mind to do what you me? She gave me some gas. Yeah, well, she gonna have to come back to see her. Damn. The money make the real skin. The money make the girl scream. The real symptoms of the thing.
The reason Betty was behaving this way would have to be determined sooner rather than later. What police learned would have a huge effect on the case, particularly when it came to the question of motive.
What's up, baby?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, ma'am?
You need something to drink?
Yes, please.
You want some water or something or what?
Can I start some juice and soda, please?
What kind of soda you want?
Please, sir.
I mean, we got Coke products. Coke, Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew.
I'll take Dr. Pepper, please, sir.
Dr. Pepper.
Oh, Dr. Pepper. We have something in common. Love me some Dr. Pepper. What's your name, sweetie?
So my name is Betty Jean Fadden.
This guy. They're gonna take me. Okay.
Y'all can catch that case, though. I'm not gonna spend the time. But again, I'm just telling you all that this is the ugly side they don't talk about when we're talking about this, police brutality thing and this systemic racism and all this. They don't talk about what happens underneath that narrative. How many people die? How many people suffer? How many lives are ruined? How many communities destroyed? All that's up under this blanket of systemic racism and police brutality. Let me go back to where is now this case right here? Police high-speed chase. Well, not really that long of a high-speed chase, but a high-speed chase nonetheless. Or traffic stop turns into high-speed chase. But we just want to hold on.
Go, come on. Wreck the building. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Go a mile north of there. Show me your hand! Right now! Don't do no! Hey, back seat! She's in the back, in the trunk, Okay. Sir.
On the frigid and wet afternoon of November 27th, 2022.
Normal. We can't see anyone in the car right now.
All right, normal.
So I'm gonna get you up to the speed of this. What's going on? So basically, there is a woman in the passenger seat, a woman in the driver's seat, and a woman dead in the trunk. The woman that's driving killed the woman in the trunk for having sex with a guy. So it's a queen in the trunk, it's a queen in the front seat, queen in the passenger seat. So the queen in the front seat driving killed the girl in the trunk for sleeping with a guy, and then the girl that's in the passenger seat is friends of the girl that's driving. Now, I want you to now keep in mind there is a dead body in the trunk, and they are driving around with a dead body in the trunk.
Is your name Winter?
She's the victim, right? Just let me talk real quick.
Ma'am, can you hear me? Did he shoot himself? Yes?
Okay, he shot himself.
Yep.
Go ahead.
With Winter still trapped inside the vehicle, the officers take cover as they devise a plan to get.
Hold on, move. Yep, I got it.
Put your hands all the way down to the bottom. All the way down, like that. Who's in the car with you?
No one in the back. No one in the back.
He's shot. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. You gotta get around. Get rescue rolling.
Okay. All right, let's see if we can pop this.
Pull her out.
Watch out.
Confrontation.
Please save her. No.
Go over here.
Do you have anything on you?
As far as what?
Just guns, drugs, bombs, bazookas?
Absolutely not. I don't know what the I think she ran a red light and then it was like, I got her phone. I'm like, you got license. She told me. I tagged this fire in November.
Huh?
I tagged this fire.
Now, this woman that y'all see on this screen, this woman is, and throughout the video, she tells them to please save it. Now, keep in mind, she's crying and sobbing like she's so distraught, but they are riding around with a dead body that her friend killed in the trunk. They going to get something to eat. Like they casually doing this with a dead body in the trunk. So I don't know what y'all call this, but this is not what the media is showing you all. This is two black women doing this. This is two black women. This ain't two, no, this is two black women. They never talk about the victims. They never talk about all, think about it. We can all agree there are more victims than anything. When it comes to this narrative of police brutality and racism and all this stuff, we can agree there are more stories for victims than there are for the quote unquote ones that they're saying are victims. The actual deceased people, the ones that are dead from all of this. She's sitting there crying and so distraught, but yet she was just riding. These two women wanted to devise a plan. I hope I can find the part of this video. Basically, the girl says, if I'm pregnant, I won't get charged the same. This is what the lesbian, the stud in the driver's seat said. She said, if I'm pregnant, I won't get charged the same for murder. So they went and tried to find a guy to sleep with her to get her pregnant so that she could be pregnant during the trial and all this stuff to get the sympathy. Listen, y'all are saying black people are oppressed and they victims of the system, all this. But this girl said, if I go to that courtroom and I'm pregnant, they ain't finna throw the book at me. And they riding around in the car, able to get food and everything with a dead body in the trunk. Trying to find a guy to get this girl pregnant. She don't even like men. But she knows the system will look at her pregnant and show her some favor. But it's racist. I know. I know.
And I'm just like, it's okay because we all go through things.
Let me just get this set. Okay.
It's like, no.
Winner.
Yes.
Step back for you can get your other pocket.
Oh, man.
Is there anything I didn't find on you? That
I got an inside jacket. I don't know.
You can check it. Just in there. It's okay.
It's on the okay.
While officers have been.
The idea from the beginning was just to have a.
She struggles for her life.
Oh, he's moving. He's moving.
The driver is still breathing, trapped in the car.
Just make sure he doesn't have another one.
I know. I don't think there's too much movement he's gonna be able to do right now.
You see from the other side of me.
Do you mind?
Notably, some of the officers make sure to turn off their cameras.
Keep it on.
No, shut it off. Years ago. I don't think they.
Now, the police officers cut the camera off to discuss, you know, obviously police matters. So if you go to the comments of this video, everybody is upset at them cutting the camera off. They didn't cut the camera off they cut the camera off to talk. Everybody's upset they cut the camera off. Not the fact that this girl is riding around with her friend just killed somebody. Not the fact there's a dead body in the trunk. Not the fact the lady that's in the driver's seat tried to devise a plan to get sympathy from the system and get pregnant by somebody. None of that. Everybody's mad. They cut their camera off to talk as if we're privy to police conversations. As if you're privy to your boss's conversations at your job. They kept the cameras on when it came to the action. Now you saying they got to record where they say no, they don't. Because they know if they discuss what's going on, you all will take the footage and accuse them of being racist. They already know it. They're going to say something that y'all don't like.
I think the shot they heard was him.
Popping himself. Yeah.
Just as they'd suspected all along, the woman in the trunk is deceased. The officers now need to find out what Winter knows about this unidentified woman and her death.
Who's the driver? What's his name?
Her. It's her. She cut all the hair off.
Huh?
Her. She cut all the hair off.
Dominique Dawn Hardwick.
Dominique Hardwick. Why does that sound so familiar? Is she from Detroit?
Yeah. She just went missing. That's why she came here. And she told me that nobody knew where she was.
Who's the young lady in the back? Never mind.
Despite feigning ignorance about the body in the trunk, Winter would soon reveal she knows a lot more than she's leading on. Officers, on the other hand, are still trying to solve this baffling puzzle.
So Dominique is supposedly her first name. She was super depressed and cut all of her hair off. And she's from Tennessee and she's going to kill herself. What?
I told y'all, when these women cut their hair off, I told you all, fellas, beware. When they get to, because these women think it's a solution to cut their hair off, it ain't. Trust me, the demons just get more enraged. I'm telling y'all, beware. So she talking about cutting the hair off, you better talk her out of it. Because when they go to cutting that hair off, they about to unleash the beast.
My pastor saying, I have a potential name.
Dominique's not the bag in the trunk.
That's not what she's saying. She doesn't know anything about
we don't
the
even
trunk.
know the trunk.
So I'm going to go do some Clements.
She's got her knees ripped open where she got shot.
See if I can get my fingerprint scanner up and working.
Okay.
I've got one in the car. It wasn't connecting earlier, but if I can get it to connect, you might be able to get prints off of. Yeah. Whomever we need to get prints off of. For sure. So we'll go from there.
What they uncover changes everything.
That person there is the other person.
The missing.
The Casa is her name.
Officers finally piece together some of the chilling clues, identifying the body in the trunk as Eleni Casa. Eleni was reported missing on November 18th after failing to pick up her daughter from school. This was just one day before Dominique was also reported as missing.
Okay.
I thought that was a dude.
That's what I thought at first, too.
It soon revealed that Eleni was Dominique Hardwick's ex-girlfriend. As Dominique had a history of violence and was currently on bond to have only peaceful contact with Eleni, she was immediately placed front and center as a suspect in Eleni's disappearance, shortly before vanishing herself. As officers put two and two together, a grim picture has emerged. However, as for Winter, they're still unsure of how deep her involvement goes.
Did you possibly get my phone at the club? Oh man, no.
Now, keep in mind, she's crying now. She's crying now, but they was riding around getting something to eat with a dead body in the trunk, having the best time of their life. They riding around looking for a dude to sleep with. They had met some guy that was going to the hotel for the guy to get this girl pregnant. So she could show up to court as a black woman pregnant and get some sympathy from the courtroom and the judge.
I'm so mad at you.
Yes, she was on bond, yes, and she was allowed peaceful contact even though she was violent. Now, what they tell you is that the system is against black people, but this girl, this stud, was already on bond for violent crime. They allowed her to have peaceful contact, which means she can determine whether it's going to be peaceful or not.
Winter, clearly distressed, continues to break down in the back of the police car. Although officers didn't know it at the time, the day before Eleni was reported missing, her and Dominique had gotten into a heated argument that turned physical over a text message Eleni had received from a man that she apparently had relations with. But this isn't even the beginning of how unsettling this situation would get. As the rain pours down, police race against time, struggling to preserve evidence before it's washed away.
Right. Evidence.
One of the things students love about culinary.
So again, that's just enough of that case. But basically, she strangles the girl to death because she saw the girl's text messages. She kills the girl. The girl got a daughter. She don't care. She just, stud is enraged, kills the woman, puts the body in the trunk, ain't thinking about the daughter she had, don't care, just enraged because she want to be a man. And then when the police hem her up, she tries to kill her, kills herself because she ends up dying. She ends up dying. But again, I just, like going through these videos because it shows how disgusting the media actually is. How disgusting the media is. Let me find hold up. Hold on 1 second. Let me find this one video. If I can find it real quick, because I had it. I just saw it. I just saw it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is that lady? Where is that lady? Oh man, I just saw it. I just saw it. Here it goes.
Point after asking strangers for 10 cents in spare change.
It was like once she told me that she was going to take me home, I knew I wasn't going to make it home.
On September 13th, Smith says she was cashing out at Four Guys on North Clinton Avenue when a stranger offered her $5 to cover her tab. As she gave the $4.90 back, Smith says the unknown woman became visibly upset.
My car was parked across the street, and I knew I'd probably had like a dollar bill in there to make it the full $5. I think they were probably trying to start something to, like, I don't know, make contact. And so I say, no problem. I'm going to go across the street and grab it from my car, and then I don't want any issues.
That's when she alleges the pair threatened her at gunpoint, forced her to drive to different locations throughout the city before they beat her. Smith says the man and woman picked up another woman who they called wifey at the first stop.
They put like a broken pipe in my mouth. I don't know if in the picture you kind of see like my lips were bloody.
Now, dear white liberals, white liberals, this is what's going to happen to most of you all. This right here. You know, now she's a person that she's going to vote for Kamala Harris. She's going to say that black folks are experiencing racism. America's wrong. All this stuff. The police are bad. All this she going to do. But the same people she's trying to protect and save did this to her. Look at her. Think about this. All this over 10 cents. It wasn't really over 10. It was a setup, but Tierra said stop helping. So now you know they're not going to show you the race of the people because we already know who they. So we know that the media says if it's white, we're going to show you. If it's black, we're not going to show you. So you know whoever beat her up, if it was white men did it, they would show the white men. They would show them. But they're not going to show who beat her up. But you know they was black because they stopped and picked somebody up and they called a wifey. You know, black people, when they commit a crime, will stop and get their friends to join in. So we know they black. Prudence says, like the Cali woman who was killed and her folks said, do not prosecute because of oppression and racism again. It's hard for me to feel compassion because I know that this same woman is for the destruction of America. So it's kind of hard that she's getting like she literally sowing the seed and this is the harvest. This is what it is.
That's when she begins beating me. She tells the woman in the back to hold down my hair, my head. And so she's holding down my head as she's just repeatedly beating me and telling me that I'm going to die tonight.
At this point, Smith says she knew she had to do something if she wanted to live.
Whoever's arm is on me, I bite down like as hard as I could. And there's a small release. and then I ducked and just ran.
Smith says she collapsed after running into a nearby store on Hudson Avenue where someone called 911 for her. Rochester Police Captain Greg Bello says the following day, Smith's stolen vehicle led police on a pursuit before striking a curb. Bello says multiple people fled from the car on Lincoln Street. Police have charged 20-year-old Shanti Hall with first-degree assault and robbery, plus unlawful imprisonment and multiple counts of grand larceny. Shanti Hall was arraigned in Rochester City Court and released. We're told there is now an active warrant out for her arrest after she allegedly failed to appear in court. Anyone with information about the 2 additional suspects or the whereabouts of Hall is asked to call 911.
So even though Shanti and 2 other people committed this horrible crime, Shanti was able to get out on bail, roam the streets, skip court, and now she's at large. Now that they're trying to convince you that the system is messed up, but this woman was about to kill this white woman for no reason, and she's out scot-free. Now they got a warrant for an arrest, but they had her locked up. Now, do you think if 3 white men, 2 white women and a white man had beat a black woman like this, they would get bond? Do you believe that a white man and 2 white women, had they beat a black woman like this, would they have gotten bond? You know they wouldn't have. You know they wouldn't have. So you know they're trying to push this no cash bail. They're trying to push this because they want black people, to commit these heinous crimes, get right out, be upset they got arrested, and do it even more. That's the goal. That is the psychology behind what's going on. The psychology is, I shouldn't even been arrested for committing the crime. The fact that y'all arrested me, now I'm really about to turn up. That's what they want. What they want. I have another one where a young lady hold on.
After dozens of open records requests and the hiring of an attorney.
Yeah, I've seen it in her hand.
And then when the officer handed her the ticket, she crumpled it up and tossed it into the passenger seat of her vehicle. Her 3rd ticket was listed as duty to drive with due care speed, where no specific speed data is cited. More details on more of her tickets will be covered shortly.
We were not racing, no, none of that.
You weren't racing at all?
No, okay. I told him, for a simple fact, I'm gonna tell you just like this. For a simple fact, we are black. It is a nice day outside. I know that the police are out. We see the state troopers out. We were not going fast. I said, we're going to just go the speed limit up here. He said, okay. His car has more horsepower than mine does. So obviously it's going to sound like it because I know how the engine sounds. Okay. And I'm going to spit fact. My car is slow. Okay. But I was in front, so he knows. I was in front. Okay. Obviously, I'm going to be in front because he's going to follow my lead. We were not going fast. She gassed on it. When I mean she gassed on it, she didn't see him because he was behind me. My car was up there, but I moved it up here because it was rolling back and it was still in drive. I don't want to mess up my transmission. She gassed on it to try to beat him.
Okay, so I appreciate you telling me all that type of stuff.
So again, this young lady, the one that's talking right now, they'll show you her talking on TV. And you'll think, because she says, we're black, we saw the state trooper, so she's already trying to paint a scenario, but keep in mind, where there's smoke, there's fire. So if you look at her record, multiple speeding tickets, infractions, multiple racing, all this, still keep getting out, no problem, still got a license. I mean, just no consequences because she's black and they white, so she could do it. So again, this young lady is talking about racism, but she's literally not being held accountable by the system. So my question is, if the system is not holding her accountable, where is the racism coming from? Where is she seeing racism? She has a car. I'm assuming she has a job. She has clothes on. She got glasses, so she got a medical insurance. I mean, where is the racism if when you get caught doing something wrong, you don't get in trouble? Okay. Let's continue.
So, like I said, our process is this, okay?
Please don't do that.
So,
I'm already black and it already looks bad
it
enough.
has nothing to do with race, man. We have 2 people that are dead right now caused by an accident.
Because
that you and
she
your brother
gassed on it.
Okay.
That has nothing to do with me and my brother.
Okay,
we were not speeding. What do you not understand?
You know what the speed limit is on here?
Yes, it's 55. We were going 60.
Okay.
It's not my problem that she wanted to be a dumb bitch and try to beat us. Okay. That's not my problem. Okay. You placing me under arrest for something that we did not do. We have digital dashes, bro.
We're gonna get all that.
We have digital dashes. So therefore, we were going 60.
So you don't have to yell at me.
I have to because you don't understand.
Okay, so here's what is gonna happen.
No, I'm not. Okay. You're not placing me under arrest or anything.
Okay, sorry.
Yes. Baby, I love you. I love all of you guys.
Stay there.
Let's stay, please, baby.
You're gonna be in handcuffs in a minute if you don't stay over there.
Please, baby, I love you guys. I love all you guys.
Let's go put on our outfit.
I love you, Mom. Yep.
So the police officer tells her that 2 people are dead and she don't even flinch. The police officer tells her that what her and her brother were doing because they were racing, and we know this because of the history. And witnesses said they was racing, going 100-something miles per hour in the 50-mile-per-hour zone. She said doing 60, but the speed limit is 50. You still 10 over. But anyway, they got them on camera how fast they accelerate and all that. But this man tells her that 2 people are dead and she doesn't even flinch. The woman and the girl riding around in a car with a dead body, getting Harold's chicken, living their best life, looking for a dude to sleep with. Like, it's just, y'all can say what y'all want to say, but this spiritual wickedness that we're seeing in Black people is unprecedented. There is no other race doing this, none. There may be a group of people doing this, but I guarantee they already worshiping Satan out now. They Satan worshipers. This man told her that 2 people are dead based on what you and your brother were doing, and she didn't even flinch. Her excuse is race. Her excuse is race. And what you all are going to find, whether you want to admit to it or not, what you're going to find is that you're going to see Black people in this near future doing the most horrific things, unimaginable, and they're going to blame white people. And most of you all, because you want to save face, because you don't want to say that's a lie, because you don't want to say no, you're just wrong, because you don't want to look guilty or bad in front of white people, you're going to go along with it. And when it comes to the Antichrist, you're going to go along with it.
Yeah, and yes, they did use force, and I was not resisting.
So, miss, what we'll do is we'll take a statement from you and everything you said.
Can you take me out of these, please?
When we get back to our station, okay?
Love you guys.
Can you, Jay, you want to pat her down quick?
I don't have anything.
I know, I gotta make sure.
They're not in my ass. I didn't got no drawers on.
Listen.
I didn't got no drawers on.
Okay.
While both Leon and Camille were arrested that day, they were both released shortly after pending charges. However, prosecutors did charge and arrested the driver of the white vehicle that made contact in the crash. Leon.
Even when two people are dead, they still got released. Do y'all understand what I'm telling you? They still got released. Even with all of this, they went down there to let them go. Think about what I'm telling y'all. Y'all are telling me that black people are getting railroaded in the system, but I can pull up case after case after case after case of black folks murdering, selling drugs, and getting out. No high price attorney, no privilege, none of it. Just get how? Daniel said liberal judges. So if the judges are liberal, then how is the system racist? If the judges are on your side, letting you out, how is the system racist?
On Bond III, who faced charges 6 months later.
The in-depth coverage you've seen so far has been made possible because of the support
By the airbag control module in Leon's vehicle. The report indicated vehicles surrounding them harm and one going 59 attempting to prevent or pub.
now by going to forthepeople.com/mncrime or find the link in the description.
Leon was ultimately tried as a juvenile. This was despite the efforts to try him as an adult, including a delinquency petition and a petition for adult verification, both of which were denied. Because he was tried as a juvenile, the details surrounding his case are not readily available or public. However, we do know some things, which includes a peek into Leon's school history with fights. One appellate case reveals that Leon's mother legally went after a school official when he attempted to prevent a fight that involved Leon, his two sisters, and another student. The case accuses the school official of dislocating Leon's arm while attempting to prevent the fight. This case was ultimately denied by the court due to there being a lack of willful or malicious wrong in the school official's actions. While Leon's case was being determined, Camille was also charged 6 months after the crash with charges surrounding her direct involvement by drag racing. During that 6-month period before her arrest, Camille got pulled over and charged for driving on a revoked license. Her license was revoked due to her failing to address her 3 previous speeding charges. She then got another speeding ticket that listed her going 59 miles an hour in a 35-mile-an-hour zone, 24 miles over the speed limit. In that pullover, she stated she was going downhill as the reason she was traveling so fast. In October of 2021, she was issued an arrest warrant and faced 2 counts of third-degree murder, 2 counts of criminal vehicular homicide, 1 count of criminal vehicular operation resulting in great bodily harm, and 1 count of careless driving. The warrant she was issued revealed more details surrounding the incident, including a deeper look into post-event interviews and forensic research.
So, as she was out on bond, after these 2 people got killed, she was caught racing again. As she's out on, 2 people are dead. As she's out on bond, she gets caught speeding again. And there's another video where the brother in a situation should have been tried as an adult, but his attorney, his caseworker was friends with the caseworker did not present the information for him to be tried as an adult. And that's why he wasn't. His caseworker didn't want to look bad, so his caseworker pulled some strings to not get this boy tried as an adult. But I think the boy was like 17 anyway. But again, let's continue.
Report detailed surveillance footage that shows the intersection they started the race at. Witness testimony shares that the 2 exchanged a conversation here pertaining to whose car could accelerate faster. After that alleged conversation, the 2 cars take off well ahead of the other vehicles surrounding them. Another surveillance camera captures the impact. Moments before, you can see just how long it takes for this uninvolved vehicle to enter the right side of the frame and pass the area where the crash happens. When Camille and Leon's vehicles zoom by moments later, it takes roughly half the time. A crash reconstruction report reveals data obtained by the airbag control module in Leon's vehicle. The report indicated Leon and his sister Camille, who was traveling alongside him, were going 114 miles per hour just 5 seconds before the crash, 64 miles over the posted 50-mile-an-hour speed limit. Court.
Now, she got in front of that body cam and pleaded her case. Racism. I was only doing 60. Y'all racist. We know we gonna do this, just all this, and all of it was a lie. All of it was a lie. All of it was a lie.
Documents also indicated Leon and Camille were over 3 football fields away when Dalton and Taylor started to take the turn. They traveled roughly 3/4 of a mile after taking off from the intersection before crashing. Her and her brother's vehicle were traveling between 93 and 106 miles an hour before Leon's vehicle struck Dalton and Taylor. The day after her arrest on October 29, 2021, Camille posted a $75,000 non-cash bond, which came with conditions that notably did not exclude her driving privileges, allowing her to drive despite the seriousness behind her case. 2 months after her release on bond, court records indicate she got in a car accident where she claimed another driver was at fault. She issued a small claims case to the court for the other individual to pay a sum greater than $4,500. In the following year, she won this court case due to the other party not showing up. She was given yet another speeding ticket in May of 2022. This time, she was caught going 83 miles an hour in a 60-mile-an-hour zone, 23 miles over the speed limit. In this pullover, the ticket cites that Camille was unaware of the speed limit, cried, and explained to the officer that she had a bad experience with law enforcement before and was afraid of cops. State records allegedly showed her car's registration was expired despite the stickers on her car displaying she was up to date. In January of 2023, 3 months shy of 2 years after the car crash, news reports indicate that Camille's brother Leon pled guilty to 2 counts of third-degree murder. He was sentenced to 25 years of prison that same month. Because inmates only have to serve 2/3 of their sentence before transferring to probation, this means he should be out of jail in 16 years and 8 months, or in September of 2039, when he is 36 years old. However, rules apply differently for juvenile cases. Here is an image posted on what appears to be Leon's Facebook page, posted in September of 2023, where he seems to be under house arrest.
So, as you can see, Leon is flexing with some money. You know, he's on house arrest. He got the red Timbs on, ankle monitor, beanie on, flexing with the money, balling, living his best life. 2 people dead, but he's a juvenile. He didn't know what was going on. His brain couldn't process. You know, but you see Leon, part of the culture. You know, how did he get the money? We don't know. Where does he work? We don't know. We don't care though. Two white folks are dead. Why do we care? Who cares? The young black man gets to live his best life. 2 white folks are dead, innocently killed by him. Who cares? Because he's the one that struck the car. He struck them. He's the one that actually hit them in the intersection.
Proudly holds what looks to be $1,000 in cash with a smile on his face. Because Leon was being tried as a juvenile, he was put on probation until the age of 21, with a stayed sentence of 25 years in prison. As long as Leon doesn't break probation by age 21, his sentence will be considered served. In mid-2024, Leon turned 21 and successfully completed his probation. His sentence for murdering Dalton and Taylor is considered served. His sister, who operated the other...
So Leon... that he actually killed them, vehicular homicide. I'm not saying he did it on purpose. I don't think he did it on purpose, obviously, but he still was speeding, racing with his sister, and he literally got no consequence. He literally got no consequence. It's funny, they'll say, T said it, his frontal lobe isn't fully developed. They said it takes you about 25. Can we afford for somebody black to not have any consequences until 25 years old? Do you know what happens if a black person has no consequences until 25 years old? People die. People died. Okay, let's go back to the sister though.
Racing vehicle, Camille Dennis Bond, faced a slew of charges as an adult for her involvement, making her case information more readily available. Through court deliberations, Camille's defense team would not only argue that she was not at fault due to her not being in the vehicle that struck Taylor and Dalton, but would go as far as to say Dalton should have yielded before the turn, and even suggested Dalton was at fault for the crash. In this section of the video, we will cover the surprising court deliberations that brought the case to its conclusion. In court, several factors were brought to light through witness and expert testimonies. While there are some notable instances of witnesses ascribing the scene to being horrific and the worst thing they have ever experienced, some more frustrating revelations deemed that Camille and her brother Leon were not only reckless with their actions, but continued to be reckless after bystanders had told them to slow down prior to the crash. Court testimony details that a bystander noticed descriptions of Camille's and Leon's vehicles traveling at a high rate of speed past her house in a residential neighborhood. This frustrated the witness as it was Easter Sunday, and there were children outside. This witness noticed that the pair parked down the street from her residence, so she decided to walk down to the cars to tell them to slow down. This witness's testimony matched the descriptions of Camille, her passenger friend Lynn, and the description of the vehicles Camille and her brother were driving. After the neighbor had spoke to them directly about slowing down, she claims the cars then sped past her on the road as she was walking back to her home, which was an inferred attempt at retaliation. This neighbor then tried calling 911 at 10:28 over their reckless behavior, roughly 4 minutes before the crash happened. Unfortunately, it appears the call didn't connect, and the neighbor decided to let it go, seeing as she only had a partial license plate to work with. A couple days later, when she saw a news article involving the vehicles, she claims to have recognized the plate based off the partial she had, causing her to call the authorities to inform them of the racing activity she saw the pair engaged in earlier that morning. If that wasn't jarring enough, the prosecuting attorney also called up Lynn, the passenger in Camille's car, and revealed Camille and Leon's lack of remorse over the whole situation. Lynn claims that she was best friends with Camille, but ceased the relationship over the morality of the situation. Lynn supported the neighbor's claim that Camille and Leon were not driving safe in the neighborhood, and confirmed that the neighbor had spoken to both Camille and Leon. She also shared that, in the moments before the pair sped off at the intersection, Camille and Leon exchanged a conversation through their car windows over who could accelerate faster. Camille in past interrogations claimed that this was true, though she informed her brother not to go faster than 55 miles an hour so that they wouldn't be pulled over. Lynn's testimony contradicted that claim, citing the pair never talked about speed limits. During her testimony, Lynn admitted she was scared during her 911 call because she had realized the car Camille was driving could have just as easily impacted Dalton and Taylor's vehicle. She shared that Camille was largely concerned about the damage to the car and the condition of her siblings, but that nobody went to the red car and that Camille was unremorseful. Lynn also detailed that at a time after the crash during a birthday party, Camille and Leon, among other family members, held a conversation blaming the red car for the accident despite their excessive speeds. She further shares that the Bond family seemed to only care about their own family being injured and held no empathy or sadness for Dalton or Taylor's passing. Lynn also cited that she stopped being friends with Camille after the birthday party because she felt sad, traumatized, and remorseful while Camille felt differently. Other witnesses appeared on the stand to share their opinions of Camille and Leon's driving. One witness shared they told others after witnessing their speeds that they're going to kill somebody moments before the crash.
So we can stop there. Blanche, this is Adonis. The system cannot be racist. I just got pulled over 2 nights ago and I was dead wrong speeding and they let me go. Told me just go, warning, weed in the car, just finished. I mean, at the end of the day, that's Adonis, y'all. At the end of the day, right? So we've been force-fed a narrative. And the narrative is, in a nutshell, that white people are racist. So that means if a white person is doing something that is holding you accountable, then they're automatically racist. That's at the subconscious of most black people, that white people are racist. So that means even when you're in the wrong, if a white person comes to challenge you on that, they're racist because their intention behind doing it is racist. But it's just crazy that this young lady, I want to say she's only going to get like I think she gets like less than 5 years because she got some. I ought to look into it, but you notice that her and her brother and her family didn't care that 2 people were dead. Like, even if you didn't think you were at fault, you should still be traumatized by killing 2 people, even if it's an accident. Like, you should not, like, that should move you to some kind of remorse. Like, dang, 2 people are dead. They don't even care at all. They don't care at all. And the girl says as much on the body cam footage. She says as much. She says she don't care about that girl getting killed. She don't care. But the reason why you can feel this way is because you've been told your whole life that white people are evil. So you don't feel remorse for them because you believe that they're just an evil creature that's living. So there's no redemption for them.
Other witnesses added more claims to Camille's words on scene, including, "The f***ing better be dead or I'll find her and kill her," and "You stupid dumb ass effing white bitch." Others sharing, "In all the years I've been driving, I've never seen 2 cars drive like that before." And that witnesses found it jarring. Camille didn't attempt to help her injured sister, but was able to maintain threatening 2 fatal crash victims. The defense's argument that Dalton and Taylor's vehicle should have yielded brought frustrations to witnesses taking the stand, one individual having what appears to be a heated back and forth over the perceived ridiculousness of his argument. One professional opinion on the stand debunked the defense's right-of-way argument, citing that, statutorily, the right-of-way vehicle loses that claim if they are speeding, and in this case, the vehicles were estimated to be traveling over twice the speed limit.
So I'll stop right there with that. You know, we pretty much get the gist of, again, this case. I'll give you the follow-up next time I come on live. But again, brother gets off, family has 2 people dead. You heard the girl say if she ain't dead, I'm gonna get her. Like, just no heart, just no compassion. And I'm showing you these cases because what the media is doing, what Satan is doing, is that he's hardening your heart. He's getting your heart to actually be black. He's getting your heart to be hardened so that you don't have any compassion. But guess what? You're not going to go to heaven. If you don't care about your neighbor like you care about yourself, you're not going to heaven. If you don't love your neighbor like you love yourself, you're not going to heaven. So if you don't love white people, you're not going to heaven. It's just that simple. If you don't love white people, you are not going to heaven. They have a place for folks that don't love everybody. They got a place for you. Yes, it's live. But you are not going to heaven. You are not going to heaven if you don't love white people. So I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. What you mean I ain't going to heaven, man? I ain't got to love them white people, man. They racist. They were the ones that put us in. You ain't going to heaven. You ain't going. You ain't going.
Black man, some of the things that hurt me the most is when I see some of my people actually being led astray by the hip hop culture and this culture of glorifying, you know, drugs and gang activity and being against the police. It hurts my heart because I know it's not setting us up for success. This video reminded me of that. These officers are on a task force trying to combat some of the crimes in their city. They know that these men are involved in some gang activity as well as, you know, brandishing firearms in front of this local business. Officers respond to detain these guys because they know that they're actually on a list for actually possessing firearms and being convicted felons, which you can't do. What you're going to see next, you're going to see officers roll up, try to detain one of the suspects, and then this is what happens.
Hey, Mom!
Now, let's keep in mind, let us police ourselves. These men are in front of a liquor store on social media brandishing firearms and they convicted felons. Now, do you believe that somebody's going to call the police? Do you believe that someone's going to call the police if these young men are in front of a liquor store, convenience store, brandishing firearms? Do you think somebody's going to call the police? Now, do you think these young men going to social media, showing their guns in the neighborhood are going to attract police attention? Now, they tell you to let them police themselves. The cops always harassing us and bothering us. But as you see, they on social media saying, come get us. We got guns and we felons.
Yo, 438, got one running. Southbound towards Romero. Get on the fucking ground. Good. Get on the fucking ground. I go 438, shots fired. Stay on the ground. Get on the fucking ground.
Now he got shot. He laid down, got back up, and kept running. He has a gun in his hand and he's running. He gets shot. Now here go black people in the back. Man, he ain't supposed to shoot him in the back. Man, he running away. He ain't got. Are you crazy? Man, you can't shoot nobody in the back. They running. He got a gun in his hand. He had a gun in his hand and he just left the scene of a crime. The only way he don't get shot is if he put the gun down. But even after getting shot, he is still not following police orders. Still.
As the officer is giving chase, he sees the firearm in the suspect's hand and he elects to utilize deadly force, which by law, by policy, and by case law, he's absolutely able to do simply because he's chasing a fleeing felon and he knows that this guy is a danger to the community that he's in.
Jarrell said that I was arrested one time, spent a week in jail, paid $20,000 cash bond to get out, and they didn't charge me. But that arrest shows up on my name, even though I was never even charged. I mean, I agree that if you don't get charged or something, I mean, there has to be some discretion involved in that. It's a gray area because I know that a lot of these folks get arrested, but then don't get charged because the system is being biased for them. So like in a lot of these cases, these folks have a lengthy arrest record, but they just slap them on the wrist because they black and the system is crooked and the judge is liberal. So like to me, there should be a stipulation where if I get arrested and I don't get in any trouble for this amount of time, that should be off my record. I mean, that's the only thing we can do is fair, is that if you don't get another arrest during that time, it should be off. Like to me, it's still a gray area because I know folks have been arrested and usually arrests determine the person's behavioral pattern. Getting arrested once or twice, nah. But when you look in your record, you got 47 arrests, but hold up, 47 arrests, but no convictions. No, that's a problem. That's a problem. Oh, it is a difference, though, between getting arrested and between getting convicted. Convicting is the final step of the whole process. I'm saying that even with an arrest, though, the person should not be on their record if after a certain amount of time they don't get arrested. Like you can't just have it hanging over somebody's head because it looks crazy. Because most people think, arrest record. They don't even distinguish between arrest and conviction. They just see the record. That's all they look at. They don't care. They don't say, well, I was got off scot-free, none of that. None of that. They just see on your record this.
Imagine if this guy were to run into somebody's house or take somebody hostage or even just turn that gun at the officer. He's in danger. So the officer doesn't need to wait for the guy to turn towards him in order to utilize that deadly force. As you can see, the initial shots of fire don't take the suspect down. He gets back up, throws a gun, and then the officers continue to give chase. They find him shortly after on a doorstep in front of somebody's house.
Stay right fucking there. Don't fucking move. Don't fucking move. He's got an 18. Do not move your fucking hands. Put your hands above your head. Hand above. I get that. Put your hands above your head. Keep them right there. Do not move. Where you shot at? Don't move. I see that. Stay right there. Stay right there.
Okay, well, we're going to work on you, bud. I need you to roll over. Put your hands behind your
Just
back,
put your
okay?
I get
Okay,
that.
we're gonna work on you,
We got
okay?
rescue coming for you. Stay just like that. You got anything on you? Yep. Don't.
Now, so he done went from on the video with the strap, running from the cop. Now, if he had got away, he would have been back on social media telling y'all how he just, shook the pig. You know what I'm saying? He'd be on social media bragging about how the police couldn't catch him. But now that he's caught, he on somebody else's front porch, bleeding out like a stuck hog, and now he wants some sympathy. Now he's a victim. Now the police better do their job. After all of this, now on the back on the police now. It's a cold. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I was just watching. I just saw rewatched the propagandized film, series trilogy, Maniac Cop. Maniac Cop was some propaganda. It's supposed to be like a horror film, but it really wasn't. It wasn't scary. Maniac Cop, basically, this cop was done wrong by the system, and the cop comes back killing all the innocent people, like just Maniac Cop. And so if you watch the film, you hear the people talking about, man, the police. If I see the police, I'm scared. I run away. I do this. Then they get the black dude. The black dude says, man, the police be shooting us. And they the film is so much propaganda. It's so much propaganda. It's crazy. But the goal of the film is to make you be afraid of cops. And like the goal of it is to make the cops even seem like they're just these figures in a horror film, like Maniac Cop. Like, and the story was so dumb. It was just so stupid, man. It was dumb. Just an old cheesy stuff from the 80s and early 90s. But it's Maniac Cop. It's actually hilarious, though. It's hilarious. But anyway, bunch of overacting. Just, yeah.
Over here.
I'm gonna get my.
Where's he hit at?
The officers immediately go from trying to stop this guy and trying to save this man's life. Now, here's the part where I talk about the culture is killing us. Just before this incident happened, these guys were on a Facebook Live just hanging out in front of the shop. Shortly after, the officers pull up, and that's when they give chase. And you can see towards the end of this Facebook Live, you can notice when the officers get on scene. But this is what I want you guys to notice in the comment section of this live. Notice how people in this live are saying, I can't stand the pigs, F the pigs, why are they there? They're saying so many different things, and they have absolutely no reasons why the officers are actually there trying to enforce the law. These guys were actually known to these officers are being involved in gangs, carrying firearms by being convicted felons, and so much more. I speak in schools all across our country, and I go into these neighborhoods where a lot of these young men are invited into this culture and perpetuating the same cycles. If we want to have any success as a culture, if we want to have any success as a people, we got to be willing to hold ourselves accountable, but we also got to be willing to get away from culture that is getting us killed. What do you guys think in the comment section below?
I think that once you make the culture something that's good, they're not going to get rid of it. The problem is that Black culture has been given this almost divine label because it's anti-white. So they're not going to get rid of Black culture. Black culture is going to spread and manifest like a virus, a disease, and it's going to spread across the entire planet. So they're not going to get rid of it because Black culture is already good because white folks don't like it, not realizing that nobody likes it because it's anti-God. But they're not going to get rid of it. They'll further empower and indulge in Black culture, and the next thing you know, wake up to Antichrist. You lost all yours in a boating crash? Oh yeah, you said you must have heard Jap. Well, you know what? I played a young lady on here before that was actually from, was she from Korea or Japan? And she was rapping, and that thing was just as ratchet as Sexy Red and them. She had on the nails, the weave, the rat twerking, did the whole nine. It's the same thing, you know. Oh, I got you, Jarrell. Man, that's messed up, man. You lost all of your stuff in the boating accident. Dang, hope you get them back. Jarrell is funny, man. Jarrell is funny.
Possibly the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. You are reporting that someone stole the drugs that you were trying to sell them.
Sir, I'm broke. I'm just trying to make a little bit
At what
money
point
here.
does this make any sense? At what point?
It doesn't make any
At what
sense.
point do you think telling the cops that someone stole...
I'm being honest. He's not being honest. Where's what he...
Are there drugs in this car?
No, there isn't.
There be no drugs in my car.
There
She
isn't.
carrying.
There
She
isn't.
carrying.
469. This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Do you see how frustrated this man is? This woman done told this police officer that I'm gonna get to the transformer. She done told the police officer that people stole her drugs.
This is quite possibly the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. You are reporting that someone stole the drugs that you were trying to sell them.
Sir, I'm broke. I'm just trying to make a little bit
At what
money
point
here.
does this make any sense? At what point?
It doesn't make any
At what
sense.
point do you think telling the cops that someone stole...
I'm being honest. He's not being honest. Where's what he...
Are there drugs in this car?
No, there isn't.
There be no drugs in my car.
There
She
isn't.
carrying.
There
She
isn't.
carrying.
469. This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. At what point does this make any sense?
Look at this monstrosity right here. Look at this. They want you to believe that someone doesn't know this as a man. They want you to believe that all the trans murders are happening because of the people being trans. That's not why. The trans community is involved in the same criminal element with all the other criminals. So a criminal's fate, if it is death, is because they're involved in the lifestyle. That's why most of them get killed. It's not because of what they talk about on the media. You see right now, they're talking about drugs and stuff right now with drugs and everything and just laughing like it's a joke. But they want to convince you that any man talking about he don't know that it's a transformer is lying. Most men have been around women their entire life. So someone acting like a woman, you're going to see a natural difference because you've only been around mostly women your whole life. You haven't been around transformers. So you only know women. So when somebody comes into a room and it's a man trying to be a woman, it's not going to look the same. It's just not. There's no way for a man to make himself move like a woman. He can't do it. Structurally, he's not built that way. So when a man said he didn't know, he's lying. He knew. Nobody accidentally gets with a transgender. That Jerry Springer stuff was a joke. It was a joke. 99% of transformers have an appendage down there. So men know. Nobody's getting tricked and deceived.
At what point?
It doesn't make it.
At what point do you think telling the cops that someone stole?
I'm being honest. He's not being honest. Where's what he?
Are there drugs in this car?
No, there isn't.
There be no drugs in my car. She's carrying.
There isn't.
She's carrying.
469.
Yes.
This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yes, and a man knows, when a woman is a sex worker too. Because you know women, you know how it is. You know, it's not just, you know. I'm gonna save that one.
Now that demonic force, because it is a demonic force, it was a dark force. It was a dark energy that came down from Chicago and spread throughout America. I think we now finally get to put that fire out. I don't think we'll hear drill music ever again. I don't think drill rappers would ever be celebrated ever again. Down goes the drill. Down goes the drill. 12th round knockout, because it looked like they had got away and they get to ride off into the sunset. So this is a victory for law-abiding Black Americans who like hip-hop music but don't like the killing part of it. So it's
a lot of free Dirks right now. It's a lot of the free Dirk campaign has begun.
Every day I'm gonna wake up trolling. Every day I'm gonna wake up trolling because they blackballed Quando Rondo because he was self-defending himself. They blackballed Lil Tim because he was standing up for a friend. Homie, come on now. Free Lil Durk. Keep him locked up. Don't give him no bond. Send him to a USP because of his record. And then got to think about this. He got to go to California.
I don't know why they stopped it right there. I'm going to say this, right? So what Black people have a very difficult time understanding is sowing and reaping. Black people know about karma, that they love karma, but Black people struggle with sowing and reaping. And the reason why is because I don't believe in karma. I don't believe in what goes around comes around. I believe in what God said. and that is sowing and reaping. That means you are an active participant in planting seeds. Those seeds later grow and manifest. So when you talk about karma, well, how does karma really work? How does what goes around comes around, does it really work? But we know sowing and reaping works because the Bible said, because God will not be mocked. So we know that sowing and reaping is at the core of what most folks are doing, because most folks are doing things trying to mock God, basically saying, I'm going to do this and get away with it. And so Black people struggle with this whole process of seed, time, and harvest. The same way Black folks struggle with time release. You know, you get something put in your body in 2020, but it doesn't affect you until 2024. That concept is totally out of bounds for most Black people. They don't understand that. But that concept of what's the word? I just said it. Of time release is the same way that reaping and sowing works. So these rappers plant these seeds. They plant these seeds before they make the music. They plant seeds during making the music and the success, and then they plant seeds afterwards. So these rappers are never not planting seeds. There's never not an instance for them to be reaping and sowing and reaping, because they have a message that goes out there and it reaches millions of people. So now your one seed planted now becomes infinite, because you created songs telling other people to do the same things that you've done, which is steal, kill, and destroy. So now you have people listening to your music, planting the same seeds, going out there, stealing, killing, and destroying. So now what started out as one seed for a rapper has turned into millions. So now when it's time to reap a harvest, Black folks get confused. Black folks don't understand that if you tell that lie that America's racist, you're planting a seed. Even the very lies that we tell out of our mouth plants a seed. Because when you tell a lie, you're going against God. How we know this? Because God said the devil is the father of lies. So when you lie, when we lie, we are with Satan, not God. So if you start telling these lies about what the police are and what the system is, all that, you planting seeds, there's going to be a harvest. But what y'all don't realize is that y'all have planted millions of seeds because y'all always running y'all mouth and lying. So now you get to these rappers. These rappers are not only telling y'all to crash out in these songs, but they're also lying too. And then all we hear is, well, the record companies won't let us make any other music. Think about what they're saying. So because the record company is telling you we only want death music. Now listen, these rappers can go independent. These rappers can do it out the mud. Why don't they? If you really cared about the integrity of the music, then why wouldn't you just say, I'm not going to sign, I'm not going to fall to the trap, I'm going to just do it on my own, and I'm going to make good music. I'm going to just be an underground independent artist. Tierra said they want to serve Satan. Clearly. Lil Durk, Quando Rondo, King Von, these people are making music that promotes death. They promote it's music that's anti-God. It's anti-God music. It's the old Tupac thing. You make an old album, you make one song that's positive, and the rest is degradation. How does the one positive song erase all the negative ones? It doesn't. So at the end of the day, sowing and reaping is real. And you don't determine how you reap. You don't. So you got a whole nation of people out there spreading lies, lying every single day. In September of 2023, over a year ago, the UN came and interviewed 133 Black people. And the United Nations asked them, is America racist? Now, what do you think those 133 Black people told the UN? Keep in mind now, after Black people tell the UN America's racist, now they're saying the UN, the Secretary General guy, the Gutierrez guy, that guy, is going to have full autonomy to, in case of an emergency, global catastrophe or emergency, he'll have the right to tell the countries what to do. Isn't that, you see how that worked out? You see how they came to Black people and said, now we got this whole global agenda about to kick off. We got this whole global plan. But we need to sit down with Black people. We need y'all to give us the okay to come over to America and set up shop. Now, the UN headquarters is in New York, but you've never seen UN troops on the street. The UN headquarters is in New York, but you've never seen UN troops on the street. So the UN comes and they said, we're going to investigate this racism. Biden said, well, America's racist. Y'all got to come investigate. He invited them. So they finally came in September 2023. And they sat down with 133 Black people. Now, you all know, if you got 133 Black folks in a room with some white folks that look important in front of them, they about to lie. It's just par for the course. If you got 133 Black people in a room in front of some white folks that appear to be important, they gonna lie. So you know good and well, when Black folks were sitting in front of the UN, they put on their best show. When Black folks were in front of the UN, they put their best show on, and it made the UN think that they can't even drink out of a water fountain anymore. That we at the brink of slavery. You know what Black folks told them. So my question is, what is going to be the reaping from Black folks lying to the CNN? I mean, I'm talking about UN, I'm sorry. T said, even though you were a crack feed, mama, you always was a Black queen, mama. You always was a Black queen, mama. I think I'm going to end there because I'm going to probably come back, do an hour tomorrow. Or maybe do something on early Tuesday. Let me see something real quick. Let's end on this note.
We love our country. I love our country. I know we all do. That's why everybody's here right now. We love our country. We take pride in the privilege of being American. And this is a moment where we can and must come together as Americans, understanding we have so much more in common than what separates us. Let's come together with the character that we are so proud of about who we are, which is we are an optimistic people. We are an optimistic people. Americans, by character, are people who have dreams and ambitions and aspirations. We believe in what is possible. We believe in what can be. And we believe in fighting for that. That's how we came into being, because the people before us understood.
Now, this is my question for the Bliggities. Can some of you all explain to me what Kamala Harris just said? I'm trying to figure out how nobody can understand what Kamala Harris is saying except black people. How were black folks able to decipher what she's saying? Listen to this, just listen.
We love our country. I love our country. I know we all do. That's why everybody's here right now. We love our country. We take pride in the privilege of being American. And this is a moment where we can and must come together as Americans, understanding we have so much more in common than what separates us. Let's come together with the character that we are so proud of about who we are, which is we are an optimistic people. We are an optimistic people. Americans, by character, are people who have dreams and ambitions and aspirations. We believe in what is possible. We believe in what can be. And we believe in fighting for that. That's how we came into being, because the people before us understood.
So maybe what they're listening to is just key phrases, because there's no way, and I talk about black folks struggling with context. There's no way you can take what she's saying and say it makes sense. So I think what they're doing is they're listening to like the key phrases, like we're gonna fight. Okay, I know about okay. Come together. Okay, come together. Stand up. Okay, because there's no, what she's saying don't make any sense. She's just saying a whole bunch of phrases and just putting them in a speech. I don't know. Listen, I love y'all. I will see y'all probably on, I think Chad's going live on Tuesday, so I'll probably have to go Monday. But what's up, Agatis? Thank you, Agatis, for moderating. Thank you so much. Thank y'all for keeping the chat lit. Bart to pay $7.8 million to 6 former employees, denied religious exemptions for the Jews. Hopefully one of many victories. Amen. I saw that too. Thank you, T. That the Bart employees, 6 of them about to get paid $7.8 million for being wrongfully terminated. So I guess I got a chance to, hopefully I can do it with mine too. My employer tried to get slick, but I got y'all. We ain't gonna do it. Too much of a paper trail. It's too much of a paper trail. But thank you, T. Thank you so much. Thank you, Cruise Missile, for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Randall Hampton, what's up? Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And Kofi, thank you so much. I really appreciate the super sticker. Thank you so much. But yeah, man, I guess it's back on the table. Some lawsuits. We need to get this money. You know, I was wrongfully terminated. Wrongfully. Wrong. Anyway, I love y'all, and I will see y'all soon. Or actually tonight on Playing Through the Culture. I'll see y'all tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll see y'all. All right, y'all.